Part of what we do, Hampidjan has been around since 1935. It was a company that was started in Iceland by fishermen for fishermen. And the company's quietly very large. It's actually around the entire world. So head office is in Iceland, Australia, New Zealand, Ireland, Canada, the US, and they have a large manufacturing facility in Lithuania, which is actually staffed by 90% women that work on the floor for the product development. So part of the biggest thing right now in the fishery is, whether it's aquaculture or just the commercial fishery, is misinformation and misunderstanding. So a lot of what Hampidjan tries to do, what I do and what the company does, is everything is based on sustainability. So sustaining the fish stocks, sustaining the fishery, environmental sustainability, financial sustainability, and it's all done through development, research, feedback, input. So currently, the biggest problem in yourself, ghost gear is a big issue. The biggest problem with ghost gear is it's an issue because it sinks. So a lot of what we're doing is our new technology and our netting and our ropes is based on lightweight, buoyant materials, but stronger than steel. So in the case of where a trawl breaks away, it's because of maybe trawls being used with rope that's not up to the proper strength, so it breaks and falls. You know, somebody showed me a picture yesterday that a fisherman put on Facebook as a joke. His trawl hookup, he had his hauler down and a shackle, and it was a zip tie holding the shackle onto the hauler for his gear going out, so no wonder it broke. So in the netting, in the rope, it's a fiber called Dyneema, which is 10 times stronger than steel at the same diameter and 10 times lighter. So this material will not absorb water. So when the trawls are out, if anything does happen to break, it stays on the surface so you can find it. But in addition to that, and this would be a big thing for you, part of the technology we're also developing is the netting is designed to catch what it's being used for. So we're different grids in the form of bycatch. So if it's designed to catch redfish, that's what it's going to catch. Shrimp won't go through, turtles won't go through, the dolphins won't go in. Even in the same with the halibut fishing with the long line. We've introduced some new circle hooks that actually have a swivel on them. So a lot of cases, those fish that are not designed to be catched, like the halibut, will catch on, get all snarled up, tangle the line. And Mel, you know yourself, if you get something on, it'll twist and twist and twist. So it tangles everything up. Some of the fish get caught and are dead before they come to the surface. So if they're able to spin, they don't twist everything up, they can be taken off, and whatever's not meant to be catch, sharks, anything like that, can be dropped down. So that's been going for quite a while. We do a lot of work with Clearwater, Mersey, and developing new technology. Now where I've come on is to try to develop the industry outside the commercial fishery. So within the fishery, I've been working on marine safety products, something more affordable for the fishermen, so we don't have the issue of them not wearing their gear, so we don't wind up with people drowning. So something that's functional, they can afford, but that they can actually work in. And it's Transport Canada approved, and that's actually been taken off really well. We've been doing good with the military on that, the DFO. And I've taken on the major project with aquaculture. So commercial fishery is going to stay as it is, and it's going to move with the fish stocks, depending as they're going farther north. But aquaculture, whether it be fin fish or shellfish. So mostly what I've been working on is clam, scallop, oysters, and mussels, which I've been working on this primarily myself for about the last 3 years with the same goal. Monitoring through the farmers to find out what they need to do. So it's based on constant service, constant supply. But I did a piece on LinkedIn not long ago on disposable economy versus sustainable economy. We've all gotten so used to buy something for $2, get rid of it the next day, buy something for $2 the day after. The whole roll through the pandemic has changed that focus a little bit to spend some money, get something to last, because you may not be able to get it again. So that's where I've been working at. So taking the green focus with the environmental. So with the oysters, they've been more or less using steel, which is similar to the lobster cage, and virgin plastic. The company I'm working with now has brought on new technology with repurposed materials, so 95% recycled. Actually is more durable than the virgin material. it will actually last longer, and cost-wise is very similar to what is being used now. But we're trying to replace the idea of the standard 3-strand rope, which absorbs a lot of water and sinks, doesn't have the strength. During Hurricane Fiona, a lot of the oyster farmers, mainly in PI, their gear was lost. It snapped and it was gone. There was nothing there. So we're actually getting ready to do some testing with our Dyneema rope. So they'll spend a little more on it, but it's not going to break. So we move that way. So it's all been the same way, is getting them into the idea of not looking at $2 change tomorrow. We're actually being able to educate them, spend a little more money, listen to the science, listen to the mentality, and change your thought process. So we're the same thing, but even in the aquaculture, people will look out and say, okay, well, all those pens out there, that's not good for the environment. Natalie posted something on our site with regards to shellfish. A shellfish site with oysters, mussels, anything like that is actually cleaning the environment. It keeps the water there for kelp, for other sea life, and promotes it. So it may not be the prettiest thing looking in the cages in the water, but it's keeping the food source moving and keeping the environment clean. So it's all a matter of getting the proper information out there and expand it. I've just finished one project now on developing a new lobster cage, or a lobster trap, with a different type of wire that, again, based on longer service wills being used, but if it's lost, it will break down sooner on the bottom. But if it comes on shore, the metal can be repurposed easy without having the PVC still on it. And my background is chemistry and coding, so I kind of put that all together. We're also working on another trap that is based 100% on recycled materials to replace the wooden traps. So when a lobster fisherman takes a wooden trap in, they're dealing with parasites. So the wood breaks down and rots out. So with this trap, it's already recycled to start with, and at the end of life, which is about 8 to 12 years, it's fully recyclable as well. So it's made from composite materials and stainless steel. So all of this stuff is kind of in the motion right now. Some's working good, some's not working so good, but it's just continually changing things and moving the information forward. I keep getting things on. I'll reach out to somebody and they'll say, well, we've got an idea. What can you do with it? Let me see. I won't say no. So then I'll put it out to 2 or 3 fishermen. They try it, and it goes on and it moves on. So it's just throw something out. It's kind of like hang something shiny and see who will come for it. But it's interesting, and it's not a lot of things there. I've actually talked to Angela Riley, who looks after Scotian Shores, to clean up, and she came right at me on the lobster cages. And when I talked to her about it, this was at the show we did in the fall in Halifax, she took it and threw it right up on her TikTok, and within the first few minutes, I think she said she had 3,000 hits. Oh, it's more plastic going in the ocean. It's different. You're never going to keep plastics out of the ocean. As much as we'd love to, it's not going to happen. It's just a matter of changing the thought process, changing the technology, and changing the purpose. So whether it's the breaking away the ropes, the traps, anything like that, and yourself, you'll know that everybody comes up and say, well, for the whales. During the pandemic, we didn't have as many whales pass away. Was it due to the lack of fishing? No, the fishing was still there. The season was moved a little bit. Ship traffic was way down. Cruise ships were down. Container ship traffic was down. So as their migration patterns change, they're not in the shipping lanes. There was something put on LinkedIn the other day that actually shows the shipping traffic going around the world, and it shows whales trying to move everywhere, and it has nothing to do with the ghost gear. That is a problem. That's going to be an issue until people change their mind on how they want to use stuff. But it's paying attention not just to the headline, but looking into the details of the information that's put out from all the organizations. And that's a common thing on everything these days, whether it's from the news, the media, the whole bit. So, but the fishing is going to go, and there's just kind of a blurb a little bit. So that's actually what the new oyster bag we're producing. Usually it takes a farmer about 15 minutes to put together one bag. These ones are set, again, 95% recycled material. Took me 5 minutes to put it together, so it should take them 3 minutes. The new cages we're putting out, the same aspect. They can be packed on site, put together real quick, and when they come in, they can take them apart. It looks like a giant wine rack, and they can just set it down. So, but any of this stuff here is just some of the different things we do. everything from towing lines, tug ropes, seismic testing ropes. We design coatings for lines that go down that will minimize vibration for when they're trying to do sonar. So if the rope is moving, because it'll vibrate in the water, we put on a fairing material that actually absorbs the vibration, so it doesn't affect the testing and the sounding. So, and then that's basically just a massive catalog of anything and everything we do.
That's a big catalog.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff that goes into my head that doesn't stay in there. That's what somebody said the other day. Oh, you're in charge of business development. How big is your staff underneath you? Me. Unfortunately.
What, you mean that's your catalog?
Yeah. And that's not even everything. That's just the stuff that is actually out of our main for the fishery. So that doesn't cover any of the marine safety, the coatings, the rain gear that we do as well. So I've actually now opened up distributors in Ontario, Manitoba, Memphis, getting ready for one in Tampa, working on northern Alaska, into BC, and
This stuff
North Carolina.
made here? It's made here?
Most of our stuff, actually, most of our products themselves are actually in, our rope and our netting is all made in Lithuania.
Oh, okay.
Our rain gear was made in the Ukraine, temporarily now it's being made in Latvia and Poland.
Did you see in the paper about the place in Yarmouth that makes the rope?
Yep, Novacord, we buy from them too.
Yeah,
Yep.
that was pretty fascinating.
And you
Yep,
have
the
great
door's always
boots. You
open.
have great
Anybody wants
boots
to
as
wander
well.
around. What's that?
You have great boots as well.
Yep. Yeah, the boots don't have a whole lot of weight to them.
Yeah.
And they're bright.
They are bright, yes.
Well,
like
it's
this,
fascinating that they're able to compete with China.
Yep. Well, and again, it comes down, the Chinese products have been around for so long, but again, that's part of the disposable economy. You can buy everything there, cheap as dirt, but how long is it going to last? You know, it's like buying your toy at the dollar store or buying it at Toys R Us. The dollar store is going to look shiny for the first day. You give it to your kid, and you're going back the next day to buy it again.
Go back the same night.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Breaks in the parking lot.
So, but our doors are always open. I'm usually firing stuff off on Facebook, and our now that unfortunately my partner in crime was made to not be with us anymore by our managing general partner.
We're not going to go there.
No, we will go there. So, but everything's there. The door is always open if anybody wants to come in and take a tour around, just to kind of get an idea. It's there.
It's actually pretty neat when you go in there and you see all the stuff that's being put together.
Yeah, and that's
you
the thing
actually-
too. All the nets and all the trawls that are used by the big fleets are all done by hand. It's all by the net knot technicians. It's basically, it'd be like going to a massive quilting bee. And it takes, again, it's a technology that's kind of changing, but there's not a lot of people into it now.
It's impressive.
It's interesting. I have fun doing new stuff every day. And that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.